All right, so welcome back to another M&A series episode. This will be episode 2. We've got a special guest with us today, Nafi. Uh,
Heck,
so what we're going to be doing today is talking about the new NHL 24 team format that's been released and kind of go over what we think about it and make our predictions as well. So who wants to start us off here? I know a lot of people have some strong thoughts about this new format.
yeah, I kind of get what your vibe's going with. Like, it's a, it's like a fair way to do it, considering how weird the situation's been, and with coronavirus just like completely shutting down everything. Like, I'm not trying to be mean here, but like the bottom like seven teams, they were never getting in either, regardless. So like having the 31 team playoff being thrown around was stupid. But at least this 24 team gives us some form of competition, some form of like there can be upsets, which is always fun in sports in general. So it's just nice having something to look forward to like for the rest of the summer, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely nice, but I think there's some like intricacies that I don't like. I don't like the draft lottery.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that the Canadians fan talking or something? I don't know.
I mean, it's just gonna be our luck where we screw up over here. We're gonna somehow beat Pittsburgh and lose like the lottery hopes. Whatever, but I just feel that happening. I don't know why, but it's like every team that gets eliminated in the play-in has a 3.5% chance if one of the placeholders wins the lottery, right? So they're going to redraw if a placeholder wins to determine who that team A is or team B, whatever that placeholder that wins the lottery is. And then all the teams have an equal chance. So it's like you're telling me that if Pittsburgh loses, they have an equal chance to get Alexis Lafreniere as, let's say, Chicago or Arizona, who are much worse this season. And Crosby and Lafreniere on the first line, that's just a little overkill. But
I mean, who wouldn't want to see it? Let's be real. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It would be amazing to watch.
Yeah, because like a team like Edmonton or Pittsburgh, like winning that would just completely change that team. Like not even change it, just stack it even more. But yeah, otherwise, I think it's a very entertaining format. I think people are going to have fun with it. And I think it's just going to go on pretty well. Like people love like the NCAA tournaments, March Madness type tournaments. So that's what it looks like. And I can see a lot of upsets coming in. And whoever wins it, there's just going to be a big asterisk next to them, especially if they were one of the play-in teams that shouldn't have made the playoff. But we'll see what happens. All right, so Matt, any other thoughts that you have on this format?
Basically, just going off what Nafi said, it's a good playoff format for right now, given the situation. I think it's really exciting that we get to get hockey back, even if it's delayed a couple months. But I think there's some really good series here, and I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's definitely some good series here as well. All right, so let's get into how we think this is going to turn out. Right, let's start with the Eastern Conference. We're going to keep the first 4 play-ins the same. That way we could have a more like uniform picks. So we're going to have Boston at 1, Tampa Bay at 2, Washington at 3, and Philadelphia at 4, with reseeding taking place after every round, because that seems what's going to be the most plausible way of this happening. So yeah, Matt, you want to start with your Eastern Conference play?
Sure. So the first round I'm doing is the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Number 8 versus number 9. For the series, I have Toronto winning in 6 games. I feel like
6? You mean 5?
You mean 5, right?
Sure. But I just feel like... Oh, right, yeah, what am I talking about? Yeah. 5 games. I feel like because Columbus lost Panarin, Duchesne, and Bobrovsky in the offseason, they're not as strong a playoff team as they were before. However, I still think that they can, give Toronto a run for their money. I just think Toronto's the better team here. They got the better players. They got a goalie who's, playing really, really well. So I got Toronto. Second series, Pittsburgh versus Canadians. I got the Canadians winning. I feel like if Price is healthy and he's playing on top of it, like if he's saving all the pucks the way he does, like I think that the Pittsburgh Penguins are gonna have a tough time against them, and I think they're also gonna win in 5.
Mm-hmm.
The next series, the Islanders versus the Panthers. I have the Islanders winning this one. Number 7 seed versus number 10 seed. It's a little more spaced out in terms of the standings. I think Barzal's going to have a good playoff series there. I don't think the Panthers are quite, a playoff team yet. They do have the stars like Huberdeau and Barkov and Bobrovsky, but in the season they were struggling a bit, and I don't think their good play will translate to this series.
True.
And then the last series is the Hurricanes versus the Rangers. This one was tough because the Rangers were kind of getting on a hot streak, especially with Panarin and Zibanejad playing really well. But I'm gonna predict that the Hurricanes beat this, given the fact that they beat Washington last year and made all the way. I think it was the conference finals they made it to last year. I just feel like they know what it's like to be in the playoffs, and they have had success in the past year. So I have them.
Okay. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to keep going with your Eastern Conference picks, or do you want to?
Sure. I can go through my entire Eastern Conference.
Tell us who ends up.
So now the next series with Toronto winning is the Bruins versus the Maple Leafs. Now,
wouldn't the Bruins play the Habs?
No, because it's number 1.
It's reseeded, right?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. So Bruins against the Habs. Well, now I don't have my notes on that, but I can just go off the top of my head. I feel like the Bruins will beat the Canadians. Boston's the President's Trophy winner, best line in hockey right now. I think even with the healthy Price, Boston is just too good of a team for the number 12 seed to knock them off. So I have the Habs.
Okay.
Nice. So the next would be Tampa Bay against. What's that?
Would it be against? It would be against Toronto, right? Because they're the 8th.
Yeah. So Tampa Bay against the Maple Leafs. I would have to go with Tampa Bay. Just because I feel like this year they want to make up for last year's kind of blunder against the Blue Jackets. I feel like this year they want to prove that they're a deep playoff team, and I think they have the talent to do it.
Okay, nice. So next you would be the Islanders and
Capitals.
Washington.
For this series, I'm gonna pick Washington. They won the cup 2 years prior. Ovechkin is still playing really, really well, scoring a lot of goals. They know what it's like to win in the playoffs, and I feel like the Islanders just don't have enough to deal with all the firepower that the Capitals offense has.
All right, so Matt, then that leaves your last series, which is Carolina versus Philadelphia.
Right. So in this series, I have the Hurricanes beating the Flyers. Like I said, when in the Rangers Hurricanes series, I think Carolina just has more experience in the playoffs. Recently, I think they have good fan base, and their home games will be I think they'll win all of their home games in the playoffs. So I think they're a very exciting team to watch, as well as a very dominant team in the playoffs.
Nice. Okay, so we've made it to your conference semifinals here. You got Boston, Carolina. That's the first one.
Boston, Carolina. I'm gonna have to pick the Bruins on that. Again, like the team's just too dominant. I think they beat Carolina last year, I believe, as well in the conference finals. So I think we're gonna have another repeat of that. I think Rask is gonna be really, really good in the series, and I got Boston for that one.
All right, and then your other one is a very interesting matchup: Tampa Bay versus Washington.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna have to pick Washington. Now, I say that because they had to go through them when they won the Cup in 2018. So I think that Washington will be able to repeat what happened in the past. And Tampa Bay also doesn't know what it's like to get that far in the playoffs. Well, except for 2015 when they made it to the finals. But as recently with this new core group, I feel like Washington will just have more grit and grind and be able to, take it to the finals.
So now you're in your conference finals. Who are you picking as your Eastern champ? Is it Boston or Washington?
For this, I'm gonna pick Washington to be the Eastern Conference champions.
Okay.
I think that Boston is a great team. However, I think Washington just, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be an upset. I know Boston's the favorite to win it, but I don't know. I just have a feeling.
Okay. True. So that's your Eastern Conference thing.
Yeah, my Eastern Conference
Nafi,
champion is Washington.
Yeah.
Nafi, do you want to go with your?
Yeah,
Eastern
sure.
Conference?
I'll start with mine. So so Leafs Blue Jackets. A Leafs fan, I can't say the Leafs don't go through. So I have to go with the Leafs. I mean, the Leafs have a team. Let's be real. The core of the team: JT, Matthews, Nylander, Marner. Like, come on, how can you not go with that? I mean, the Columbus. I'm not taking anything away from the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're a solid team. They like to grind. They can grind it in the corners, and they have shown to be a surprise in the past by taking out Tampa last year. But in order to but the Leafs are just the outright favorites in my opinion, and by stats as well.
Okay.
So that's obviously Leafs going through for the first round there. Pens Montreal. Now, don't come at me because I don't like Montreal, naturally, but the Pens just have the natural talent that you need to win a Stanley Cup round in general. I mean, yes, Price is the game changer. Matt said it before, but
I mean, it's not that outrageous of a pick. They are the favorites, and Getzel's coming back and
true,
stuff.
But
the
the Canadiens have nothing to lose. Like they're coming back. They're gonna they're the underdogs. They have nothing to lose, so they might as well go all out. So it's all about whether or not the Pens can deal with the Canadiens' desperation to really make a name for themselves. Now the next series was between New York and Florida. Well, I could not pick a outright winner because they're so evenly matched when it comes to teams and stuff. For power play for Florida is probably the only thing that's separating them. With the offensive power that they have up front with Huberdeau, Barkov, Dadonov, that's gonna be a problem for the Islanders. But the Islanders are a great team. They really like to dig it up in the corners, and maybe the Panthers will just edge through. I don't know, but that's what I'm picking with.
You're going with the Islanders or the
Panthers?
For
that one. Yeah.
Panthers? Oh, okay. That's a
that's different
pick
from
there.
Matt. I have my own opinions, Matt. Deal with it.
No judgment here.
Yeah. So the last one would be the Canes and the Rangers. Now, with the Canes, I know how Matt went with the Canes, but I'm not too sure about that because the Canes don't have that solid goalkeeping that you would need. Reimer and who is it? Mrazek. They're good, but can they push it up to the next gear? And on top of that, they're not gonna be in total game fit shape because no one is. So can they do it? I don't know. But what type of goalkeeper will you get? Will you get the hot Reimer that you had near the beginning of the season, or you get the Reimer that was getting pulled against Toronto? But I don't know.
Yeah, Mrazek should be healthy, right? He'll play that
I
series
honestly think whoever starts that series with for the Canes, they're probably gonna play both of them, game 1 and 2. Let's see who's doing better. And New York's just hot with Mika and Artemi. Come on, those two are just two elite forces on that team, and so I'm gonna edge the Rangers on that just because of the fact they have some out and out offensive elite talents. So that brings me.
I agree with
that. That brings me to the first round, I would say. So that's the Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So Leafs versus Tampa.
Oh no, it's Florida versus Tampa.
So that means Leafs would be versus Bruins. Yes, it'd be Bruins.
The Leafs would be Leafs aren't the last seeded team in your thing.
The Rangers.
The Rangers are.
Man.
Right. So the Rangers would face
that
the
means they would face
Bruins.
the Flyers. My bad. I'm going the opposite way. Yeah.
Rangers, Bruins.
Leafs. I want to talk to the Leafs. Leafs first. Leafs Flyers.
Okay, so
Leafs Flyers. Great matchup.
Are the Leafs even playing the Flyers? No, the Leafs are
'cause it's
playing.
1-4, and then you reseed them, and the Leafs would come out on top.
Leafs are playing Washington, are they not? Because Pittsburgh would be playing Philadelphia because they're the 4 and 5.
All right, fine. We'll go with that. So Leafs Caps.
Okay.
Interesting looking series. Leafs. It's basically the grade 8 versus Austin Matthews. Let's be real. John Carlson at the back for the Washington Capitals. That's gonna be a struggle. Leafs have been known to struggle against the Caps in general, but like with a healthy team for the Leafs, they may come through. But let's be real, the Caps are just an elite force. So I've been saying elite a lot, haven't I? But Caps are just crazy. They're just amazing team. So like, come on, the Caps would go through on that, even though I'm not happy to say it. So Bruins versus New York. Rangers. Yeah, Rangers. And New York is a good team, but like, come on, Boston. You can't do anything against that front three, can you? And with the solid year that Rask's been having with Halak to back him up, I don't see like the Rangers going through on that one. Flyers, Tampa and the Pens. Yeah, Tampa versus the Penguins. Tampa versus.
No, Tampa and Florida.
I don't understand this, but yeah, whatever. Tampa versus Florida. I don't know. Tampa's the one team that I've been looking at and been having doubt like whether or not they deserve to like go through, because they are playing with the notion that they got knocked out in the first round last year, so they may be stressing out over the fact that, you know, will that happen again? Oh my god, am I gonna pull another Columbus first round exit? But I like the Panthers. They're a great team. They're like, honestly, if I know you guys watch like the NHL, but like if you guys watch like the Panthers play in general, they're like a really hardworking team that likes to get back. They're great in transition, one of the better transition teams in the league. So I honestly think that the Panthers would give the Tampa Bay a run for their money, and I honestly think the Panthers could come through with a win in this series. Like, I don't know, like I don't think that Stamkos, with all that he's been through, Braden Point and like Kucherov, like the Panthers do have like the offensive talent. So I just think that the Panthers may just edge the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay, that's
but like pick. It's honestly like it's all because of this COVID. Like no one's gonna be like fully fit, and the Panthers are just that type of team to like grind it out, and Tampa isn't. They rely on their big boys to like come through. Yes, they have depth, but like how much depth can you compare it to the depth of the Florida Panthers, who play a defenseman as a forward and still scores a hat trick? Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's a tough one there. I personally go Tampa, but I can see like this is going to be a really unexpected year, so I can see Florida beating Tampa.
I see your reasoning behind it, but I don't necessarily
that's
agree
fine.
with it.
I don't mind. Like, you know, it's an out there pick. Like sometimes you gotta go out there to, you know.
Yeah.
Like if it happens, I would make a lot of money, but I don't bet. But okay.
Your next series is the last one.
Philly,
it's Pittsburgh, Philadelphia.
Yeah, so you basically have, these are two big rivals. I have to say. First of all, it's basically the Pennsylvania, the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania, yeah.
If this was a regular season, I would probably go with the Penguins, but Crosby's coming back off he's obviously Crosby's, but like Crosby's coming back off an injury. He's well rested. Flyers been on a heater recently before the season paused. I think I gotta go with the Penguins based on the fact that they do have the elite team. They have the Malkin, they have the Crosby, they have players coming up through the ranks, and they have a good goaltending tandem as well, Matt Murray and like Christian Jarry. Carter Hart is new. He won't know what's going on. He hasn't had a playoff run before. The nerves may get to him, and if your goalie is nervous, you can't just rely on your defense to bail you out. Goalkeepers can steal games, and that's something that on the other side, the West Conference, that's a big deal for me. Like when I go into it. So yeah, go on.
With Pittsburgh, I'm just super confused about if it's going to be Tristan Jarry or Matt Murray.
I mean,
like history says Matt Murray, recent stats say Tristan Jarry, but I guess that'll happen. Like we'll get to that one.
I mean,
I guess.
I think what's gonna happen with that is that they're like I've been hearing like when I was doing research and stuff, they were saying like they're probably gonna try out both of them in the first 2 games and see how it goes, and then decide from there. But like that's already too late in. Like you could be 2-0 down by then. But like I don't know what's gonna happen with that. But like,
Mm-hmm. So near next round you have Boston, Florida, and then you have the iconic Washington, Pittsburgh.
Boston, Florida. God. I mean, you cannot say Boston's gonna win that, aren't you? Are you like? Let's be real. Boston's the perfect team right now. Cup experience. They've won it a few times. Florida's just an out there pick, but I think Boston's gonna come through with the win here. Like, let's be real. Boston's gonna go on to the final. Yeah. I mean, unless they have the first round exit. I mean, like Tampa Bay did. Like, oh my God, they're gonna do that. But like, they're just an out and out right pick to go on to the thing. And then Washington, Pittsburgh, Pens, Washington, Caps, and Pens. Now this is where I struggle. Like, come on, like, how do I pick between two great teams like this?
I don't know. You just got to do it. History tells you one thing, and I
think for this one it's got to be the Caps. The Caps have a solid like they're evenly matched when it comes to the offensive talent they have, but like the Caps have.
I agree with you. Caps do edge them out.
Caps just edge them out. Carlson's been having a great year. They have big guys, big tough mean guys at the back like Radko Gudas, who can really be a thorn in people's side and could get under the skins of big players. Malkin's been having a good season, but the Caps just edge it out in my opinion. Once again.
Okay.
Boston.
Nice. So your conference finals, Boston.
Yeah, Boston, Washington. God, Boston and Washington. These two, like, I think everyone has their money on these two going to the finals, but I don't know. Washington had that run about 2 years back, had that win 2 years back, and like the Bruins went to the finals last year. I don't know. Like I think it'd go either way. This is the one thing I can't really decide on. Bruins, Caps, man.
You gotta pick your one.
God, you gotta pick your one. You're doing me dirty here, but I think I'm good.
This is the same.
I had the same conference finals.
You had the same conference finals. Matt win.
Yeah.
Washington.
Just for the sake, I think it's gonna be the Bruins. Like Bruins are the younger team. I mean, not considerably like Bruins are have a considerably younger team as opposed to the Caps.
They have a good balance.
Like, I think it's coming down to goalkeeper once, tendies once again, because who do the Caps have? They have Samsonov and they have Holtby. Holtby's good and all, but he's getting old. Like, let's be real. He's
declined. Don't know if it's because of his age. I think Samsonov is just
but like Samsonov's never been in a playoff run before, so that could be a factor. And Rask went through the run last year. Halak was in there. So I think it's got to be Boston who go through again. Like, they deserve, as much as I hate saying it, they deserve to have another shot at winning the playoffs.
Yeah. I also think if Boston beat St. Louis in the final last year, I think Rask would have gotten Conn Smythe.
100%. Rask deserved it.
So I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, so
Boston is my pick, yeah.
All right, I'm going to quickly go through mine. Because don't worry about it. I'm just like, not, because like a lot of your points are going to get repeated here. Columbus, Toronto. I hate Toronto, but 100% the better team. They're winning in 4 games, I think. Pittsburgh, Montreal. I think Montreal's going to screw themselves by winning this series. I think it's much better for them in the long term to lose this series than it is to win, but there's just something about this series that seems like they're going to win it. New York Islanders versus Florida. I'm a big fan of the Islanders. I like the way that they play. I like the core that they have built around them. I'm picking the Islanders in 4. New York Rangers, Carolina. Here's another upset. New York Rangers beat Carolina. They've been hot like when the season ended. I know that there's been like a big absence in between, but that team is on the rise. I think their goaltending went up a notch. Their scoring went up a notch. And I'm picking them to go to the next round.
Yeah.
So that next round, I have Toronto and Washington. I'm sorry.
I mean, I've accepted it. I've accepted it. Don't apologize.
It's going to be Washington. And then Montreal, Boston. This is where the Habs screw themselves and lose against the Bruins, unfortunately. And now there's nothing coming out of their season. So, whatever. The Islanders, Philadelphia. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a massive believer in Philadelphia. Much more of a believer in the Islanders. I don't know what would happen if you kept the season going. I don't know if they'd be reseeded or what would happen, but I think the Islanders overall are a better team than Philadelphia, and I'm going to take an Islanders win there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I have the New York Rangers versus Tampa Bay. Here's the upset.
Yikes.
Rangers continue on their form. The COVID Cup, whatever. The Rangers beat Tampa. It'll be a closer one than the blowout last year, I think. But the Rangers are a team that's built well. They might be young, but they have some.
They do have some older
in there. I mean, Zibanejad has been in a playoff series before with Ottawa. Panarin last year and the year before, and then Chicago as well. I think the Rangers take it there. So my conference semifinals is Washington and the New York Islanders, and the Islanders, coached by Barry Trotz, ex-Washington Capitals coach. They take them there. Barry Trotz knows the way they play. He's coached all those guys before to the Stanley Cup win. He's a great coach, was what we've seen. Like, no one believed in the Islanders, but he took them all the way to they made it to the second round last year, and when people didn't even think they should have made the playoffs. So I'm taking the Islanders here. And then I have the New York Rangers versus the Boston Bruins. Here's where the fairy tale ends for the Rangers. The Bruins are too good of a team to lose to the New York Rangers, to lose to any Eastern Conference team actually, because I have them going to the finals. It won't even be like too hardly contested with the Islanders. I think Boston takes an easy route there. 6 games and they're in the finals, representing the East. So that is my quick analysis of what the East looks like going into this 24-team tournament.
That's interesting. I actually don't know why would you take the Islanders, the Rangers that far, but it's your choice. But like, okay.
I know what I see happening is there's gonna be some sort of controversy going on in this format. Some team that's not supposed to be there is going to make it to a place they shouldn't have, and in my opinion, that's going to be the New York Rangers.
It could be the Leafs, but you never know. That's just me talking.
Yeah, you don't know. You never know. If this podcast sounds incomplete, that's because it is. There's another episode uploaded to make it into a 2-parter, just so it was easier for viewers to watch. The next one will go over the Western Conference and our Stanley Cup winners. So we hope you enjoyed this Eastern Conference ones, and click on the link below to go to the part 2 and watch what we think will happen in the Western Conference.